What's up, everybody? How you guys doing? Let's go. Man, starting to see a lot of this stuff boiling over pretty bad here. I want to show you guys a lot of the stuff that's going on in the background. Some of these guys went over the reports and they're talking about it all being hunky-dory, but I want to show you guys a whole bunch of numbers on a lot of things that these guys are getting smashed in the background. 2024, even the end of this year, is going to get very, very interesting, very, very quick here. I'm going to wait a minute here, let some people jump in. Hope everyone's having a good day. Everybody that's wondering about AMC's price, max paying is going to be $9. So, we did a little jump up actually. So, don't be surprised if suddenly, we have a drop off tomorrow. But we'll see what happens here. Maybe this max paying will switch to $9.50 just in time. We'll see. We'll see the contracts. I'm going to let everybody get in here for 1 second. How's everyone doing? All right. I feel like we waited long enough. Alrighty. So let's look at the let's go to this tweet here first. So AA tweeted that in the first 2 weeks, Taylor Swift grossed $179 million so far. That's pretty nice. I mean, like I said, at the end of this, we could still get. I thought we could do a little better than these numbers. Not gonna lie, but hey, the Swifties. Here's one of the things that I want people to understand quick before I get into this. So, this movie is not like other movies. It's a concert movie. So people go into this with a different mindset than me and you go into it. A lot of people don't go into a movie going like, God, I hope they have this good merch and I got to get this great merchandise and I can't wait to see what they have up there waiting for me for merchandise. And a lot of these movies don't have it. Well, these girls are going, or whoever's going to this concerts, they're going to it like they're going to a concert, which they want everything. They want the posters, they want the shirts, they want the cups, the popcorn tins, they want it all. And that's a huge difference between this and a lot of key movies. So AMC, in my eyes, is going to make way more money from this movie off merchandise sales than anything else. They put more merchandise on the website a couple days, I think it was like 2 or 3 days ago. There was a giant waiting list already, the second new one on the website. I should have checked quick. It might be sold out already again, but most of these people that went to this movie, they were going and buying 3 or 4 different types of merchandise, 5 merchandise. And that was the thing. Like I said, a lot of these moms that were bringing their kids, they couldn't justify, spending all that money on a concert ticket and then getting them all this stuff. So what they're going to do is they're going to go to this movie, get them every single possible thing that they can, which is exactly what they did, just to make it be the ultimate experience. But in their eyes, they saved how much money doing it. So, like I said, I think we should finish about what, 270 at the end of October, at the end of this weekend. So still good things going for Taylor Swift. Hopefully by the end of November here, we should pass 500 million, which we could still easily do. And if we do that, like I said, with merchandise sales, we should make a killing still from this Taylor Swift deal. Now, one of the things we're going to get into in a second here is with this strike. Taylor Swift, one of the things they tried to do, all these streaming services, that they tried to go ahead and, of course, rush to it. Hey, we want this. We want to get this into our streaming services. We want to get this out. So why we get, we're on strike, we could still get a piece of this pie because obviously this is going to, like I said, this is easily going to pass over 500 million domestically. So they want to get a piece of that, of course, try and hurt us as much as they can. And Taylor Swift basically told them to go fuck off, which is sweet because today they're trying to play hardball with these guys and they're saying, hey, we're going to wait until January if we don't get a deal done. They gave them a counter argument yesterday. They went over it. They gave them the studios a counter argument today. Of course, the studios didn't want it. Now they're being little crybabies, so they said they're not going to do anything until January if they don't stop, which at that point, I don't get how you justify to your shareholders, we're going to lose money on movies, we're going to lose money on TV shows, overpaying our actors just a little bit more. So another, good job here for Taylor Swift, giving them a big fuck you, big middle finger, let's go. But let's get into the numbers here real quick. So right now, we're only at 400 million at the domestic box office. This was a pretty bad month, I'm not going to lie. I thought we were going to be a lot higher. I thought Taylor Swift would be a lot higher than this. But hey, next month, I still think December, November have a lot better. We still have Freddy at Fridays coming out. They expect that to do about 80 million. So we could still break 550, 600 million. But like I said, guys, even if you're not going to see movies, advertise, retweet every single time you see, a trailer. Like I said, that's another. Think how much money these guys spend on advertising. And they have one of the biggest armies out there. Advertise, guys. Even if you can't go see a movie, just post a trailer. Maybe 1 or 2, maybe 3 people see it that didn't know about the movie. Now they want to go see it. Advertise as much as you can. But yeah, we gotta pump these numbers up here next month here. But one of the things I wanted to go ahead and show you guys here, like I said, is what these guys want to do is they want to wait until January unless they can get a deal done within the next week. This is either a scare tactic, which I don't think these actors are really going to budge on anything. They just got done complaining the other day here, the studios, that if we don't get this done soon, all these TV shows are going to get pushed back in January, which that's just more pressure on these guys to get it done in the actors' eyes. That wasn't more incentives for these actors to get it done. They're like, well, fuck you, I don't care. If you have to cancel some shows that make you guys a lot of money, that's your problem. Because they have to pay the writers too much now is their excuse. It's just complaining after complaining. But yet these CEOs are making hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars every year. Good one. So one of the things we could do is everybody, like I said, guys, if you don't use your service, they're not going to have any new stuff coming up. Because of these strikes, they're not going to have much, if any, new content coming in. So at this point, those old ones, let's all send them a message too. Fuck you. The second we get this deal done, this is huge. There's nothing else standing in AMC's way. There's nothing else standing in this industry's way. You're going to have the content we need to have. On top of that, you'll have concerts. So like I said, fuck these guys. If they want to go ahead and keep being little crybabies, one of the ways we can go ahead and give it to them is go ahead and cancel those services, especially ones you don't use or watch all that much. But one of the things also that I thought we could start doing is if these guys are going to go ahead and sit there and these production studios are going to delay shit, well, fine. AMC, why don't you go over to these guys? I mean, think about this. Let me ask you guys a question, because I'm honestly, this is something I think we should have done. I'm just honestly, what, buddy? Stop grabbing my shoe, please. I'm just curious what your guys would say about this idea, but what if AMC went to these guys and funded their own movie? I mean, here's the thing. If we could, even if we had to raise money somehow, I mean, I don't want to do it through shares. But if we could raise about 50, maybe we don't even have to raise any money, because you know what? Technically, we did raise that capital. Our balance sheet was secure according to him. So if we're going to do an investment, maybe we look into a movie. Because, I mean, here's an example. Even Oppenheimer. When you guys go ahead and look at, one second here. Look at these movies. They paid $100 million to produce Oppenheimer. Look at how much Oppenheimer brought in. $1.3 billion. I'm not saying, AMC is just going to make one and they'll just instantly make $1.3 billion. But I mean, think about this. If AMC produced it, AMC distributed it, that's 100% profit. And then all these other theaters that want your movie are going to have to pay you too. It's not 100% profit, but you get what I'm saying. It's like, Jesus, how much profit you would make off doing that? That to me is a better investment than the Hycroft mine. We have an entire board that used to be movie producers. I know not a lot of people don't like this guy. I'm just using an example. You can go on across the board. All these guys were in the entertainment industry. I'm not saying they need to come over and, hey, save your guys self money and you guys be the producers and shit. But they can oversee it at least. The movie's going to be made well. You have the people that have the experience behind it, that if we made a movie, I feel like it would be done correctly. And these producers, these guys are out of jobs right now. So if we go over and say, it's just like, think about it this way. When you see famous athletes and they go to their team and they say, hey, I want to re-sign my contract. And then the team's like, and he goes, I want $11 million. And they go, no, we'll give you $9 million. And then the guy, they fight for a little bit. And eventually the guy just says, fuck it, I'm just going to go somewhere else. And he goes somewhere else and he makes less money than what he would have done at his home team. But just to spite him, he says, fuck you. And then takes that job anyways at a different team that plays him in that division. It's the same type thing. these producers, these actors, if they're looking over like, all right, if you guys aren't going to give us our deal, we see AMC can distribute a movie just fine. If we could produce it, all AMC needs to do is get the funding to get the proper people to get it done. Like I said, you got the experience behind this industry to maybe make a movie. But I'm just curious, what's your guys' thoughts on that? Do you guys think that's a good idea? Do you guys think that's a stupid idea? I don't know. I mean, a movie, man, even if you spent $100 million, even if it did like I said, you got a $500 million movie, that's $400 million. That's a lot of money. Plus, all of a sudden, you would own the rights and the distribution rights to all the merchandise. That's 100% profit on the merchandise almost. You would be killing it. I think that would be such a good idea because you got the guys that know what they're doing in that industry, so use their, knowledge to our advantage. But maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm going on too much about that. But I just think, like I said, doing an investment like a movie and actually get, you could get even a 65, 75, it doesn't need to be $100 million movie. We could still do a $65, $75 million movie, and still get great actors. Make it a good movie, but I don't know. It's whatever. I'm just curious what you guys think. I haven't really seen many people saying much in the chat there. I don't know. All right, I'm just going to move on because nobody seems interested in the movie idea, but whatever. I think it's a good idea. So, this is the thing I want to show you guys how fucked up this is. This is one of the big things I want to show you guys and how we all knew about the Cayman Islands, right? We all knew that these guys had, these guys over in the Cayman Islands and blah, that's how they get away with their tax bullshit. Of course. But I want to show you guys something, and I want you guys to see some numbers here, and I want you guys to see what they do and then how they do it and just how much it costs them to get this done. Because it's mind-blowing. It's absolutely fucking mind-blowing, you guys. And I want you to see and understand how they operate out of these companies. It literally is mind-blowing, dude. It is so fucking stupid. It's not even funny. I just don't even get how this is possible. All right. So, know this name well. It's Eugland House. Eugland House has been talked about since 2009. And it's been going on for a long time. But just to give you guys a number, in 2009, it was estimated that they lost over $100 billion in taxes just from 2009, okay? Now, I want you guys to listen to these numbers and then listen to this. This is unfucking real. So, 2.5 trillion. This is in 2015. And then I'm going to ask you a question, and then you're going to understand how insane this gets, okay? In 2015, 2.5 trillion was held in overseas tax havens, okay? In 2015, they had 2.5 trillion in Cayman Islands and Puerto Rico, all over the world, right? 2.5 trillion is what they funneled out and didn't pay taxes by just shoveling profits. We'll get into this in a second. But just shoveling profits into these small corporations over in these tax havens and no other fucking purpose. And then they were claiming these over into... We'll get into this in a second. But okay. Here's my question. This number is 2.5 trillion in 2015. What happened since then? The biggest excuse for them to print money, COVID. What did they do? They printed $16 trillion, 80% of all US dollar currency. Okay? So they printed $16 trillion since this moment that I showed you of 2.5 trillion. And that 2.5 trillion was already 8 years ago. So, just before the printing, how much did it go up? Now you printed 16 trillion. The United States didn't get any better. Where did it go? We already know it basically all went to the 1%, but they're all broke. So where did it go? It went to all their tax havens. It went to all their tax havens. That's where all the money went. A good portion of that $16 trillion is sitting offshores. That's how fucked up it is. Trillion. We're talking 7, 8, 9, 10, $11 trillion is funneled out there. Now, one of the crazy things, now I want you to look at this. Look at this picture. This office building is Euclid House. Okay? Look at the size of this thing. It's not big at all. It's the size of, you go down the street, you see an office-sized bank, you know, an actual, not a little branch, but like those, you know, little bigger banks in an older type building. They're big, but they're not fucking huge. This office building in Euclid House says they house 20,000 businesses. 20,000 businesses have offices in this little building. 20,000. Think of that. How many people could you fit in that building? How many companies could you fit in that building? 15 at most. I don't even think you could fit, probably about 15. What's that, 3 floors? Well, it depends on how big the offices are. I mean, you might only be able to fit 10 companies in there. 10. But there's 20,000 that say that that's their physical address and that's where they're registered out of. Okay? 20,000. Now we're going to get into more numbers here. It gets stupider. It gets way stupider. Now, you have 20,000 fucking companies in this small ass building. It's a 10,000 square foot building, you guys. 10,000. 20,000 people. Now, inside this building, you pay 0% tax. Inside this building, you pay 0% tax. Okay? President Obama, now this was in 2009. I'm going to show you it got even higher. This number goes up higher. I'm going to show you the numbers up to date. So Obama was talking about this and he says this is either the largest building in the world or the biggest tax scam in the world. So it's not like the FBI and them don't know about this. And this is how you know they don't work for you. Because it's not, if you can go through a speech, go through this, I can pull up the records, which I did, and I saw all of these fucking, it is insane. It's like, what the fuck? There's over 20,000. In 2009, there was 18,857 corporations. And guess who's got a corporation in this building? Good old Ken Griffin. Got a couple of them in this building. Huh. Good old Kenny boy. Euclid House. So, Kenny uses his sub-companies in here to avoid taxes. He takes his fucking profits and he funnels them on over there so he pays 0% fucking taxes on them. Biggest joke. So, now let's get even more into some good stuff. So, in 2016, hold on, where the hell was it? Hold on, I have too many goddamn tabs open. Whatever, I'm not going to worry about that one. Let me go over to here. So, now, if you look at it, inside, this had the numbers now for the 20,000. I'm sorry, this had the number of over the 20,000 firms. Okay, sorry about that. So now there's over 20,000, and that's 2015. And now it's at 23,000 today. So if you look at this, so 23,000 fucking companies are in that small building, 10,000 square foot building. Now if you look at this is where it gets real crazy, okay? It's like, huh? How's this possible? In the Cayman Islands registered, there's about 4 buildings, 5 total if you want to count like the throw-ins. There's like 5 big corporate buildings that are smaller than shit. They're about the size of the one that I showed you. There's 116,996 companies registered into those 5 buildings paying nothing. Okay? Now, to put that number into perspective, because you're like, Well, maybe that's not that much. Now, there's 117,000 companies. The population of the Cayman Islands is 68,000. There's twice as many companies in the Cayman Islands registered to 5 buildings, to 5 fucking buildings, than there are in the entire population. So that's like the entire population all working at these buildings and having 2 jobs at those buildings. What the fuck? Okay. So, if you guys remember, right? They talk about this. Now, here's the thing that's real interesting. So, to get into this tax haven, right? To get into this, to get all registered up here, into these companies, to be able to say, I don't have to pay fucking taxes. I'll show you, like, again, what Microsoft did. To go ahead and keep funneling the shit in there, it costs you a total of $600 to set up a brand new company, have a Cayman Island address, and put it into one of these brick and mortar fucking type companies. It costs $600. That's it. So, think about that. If you do a $600 Venmo payment, the IRS can get you for tax evasion or calling it drug money. What's this money for? If you pay $600 in the Cayman Island, you can never pay taxes again. So they try to get you for tax fraud for Venmo payments of $600, but they spend $600 to be able to open an actual fraud tax haven, and it's no big deal. It's good to go. Isn't that fucking insane? Whoop, where'd it go? Sorry, I didn't mean to click over. $600. That's it. So now that we know some numbers here, let's go ahead and think about this, you guys. Back in 2009, it was estimated at $100 billion loss. Okay, that was a year, and it gradually increased. It's been 14 years, and it's gone up. Each year, it's gone up more. It's gone up to what you had: 100 billion, 125 billion, 140 billion. So it keeps going up and up and up and up and up. So next thing you notice, you have at least 2.2 trillion minimum in unpaid taxes over there, and that's before, and that's just that's if you kept going at the rate before you take in the factor that they printed. And then they went ahead and printed and printed and printed. That is what, $3 trillion that they should have paid in taxes? That's not counting. That's not the amount of money that they have over there. That's $100 billion that they should have paid in 2009. That's $125 billion more they should have paid in 2010. That's $140 billion they should have paid in 2011, and so on, equaling those trillions. And now you pound in the factor a couple years ago when they just fucking printed and just shoved it on over there at alarming rates. Well, sorry, my steam came up. That's in fucking sanity. You're talking, so people that go, they can't afford to pay this MOAS, they have trillions offshores just fucking going around. And then they need excuses for these wars and shit to funnel and launder this away. It's insanity. I got quite a few good games. Got WWE 2K23. We play a little 2K. What do we got, man? I don't really play too many games. I don't have much time to play video games, my friend. But I mean, Jesus, $600 to be able to get away with billions. Now, they have even more shit that I showed you before. So now, like I said, yeah, look at Microsoft just for an example. Now, Microsoft owed them $30 billion. And they did the exact same thing I just went over. They were funneling profits, right? Hold on, I gotta sneeze. All right, sorry about that. All right, so these guys, they were funneling these profits over to a small company in Puerto Rico. And it is 85 people.
And they were funneling billions and billions to this company. This 85-man factory was suddenly making billions. What? And what did this factory do? Nothing. They just burned windows onto CDs. That's all they did. This 85-man factory was making billions of fucking dollars through Microsoft deals because Microsoft sold them a patent. So they needed that patent to be able to make the Microsoft CDs. So then what they said is, all right, so for order us to make these CDs for you, which they own the company. Microsoft owned the company. So then they go, for us to order, we're going to need a deal worth billions of dollars. And Microsoft's just funneling them billions. And then the IRS looks at it and they go, there's no fucking reason for this. This Microsoft sold this. There's no reason for this. There's no benefits from Microsoft having this company other than the fact that they're avoiding taxes. And then they alone had to pay $30 billion in back fucking taxes. Holy shit. Like I said, this number is in the trillions. You have 17,000 companies alone registered avoiding this shit. It's insanity. And most of them are in these fucking, it's these right here. There they all are. Group them all together. It's this little part. It's this. This is where all the big businesses are registered. It's this little fucking small strip right here. And it's, look, okay, if 117,000 corporations were in this area, if billions were going through this area, shouldn't it be bigger than this? Shouldn't it be bigger than, Silicon Valley? Look at this thing. This is it. This is Georgetown. This is your crime haven of the world. Look at this rundown piece of shit. But billions go through there. Trillions. Georgetown, Cayman Island, broke down shit. Look at this harbor, for fuck's sake. That's your dock? What are you? Look at these shipping containers. They're just chucked on there. I'm like, dude, this is insane. This is, like I said, Mafia. People thought the Mafia went away. No, they got smarter. Here they are. And guess where else they are? The fucking Cuba. And then guess what they're doing? We'll give you cocaine. We'll run all this fucking money. We'll launder all this money over here for you. Zero taxes. We'll let you guys go ahead and dip on into the funds for government funds. It's everywhere. It's fucking everywhere. Look at this rundown pile of shit. And that's where this is where more money goes through than like anywhere in the world. This blows my mind. It blows my fucking mind. And it's like, it's not like if I was an FBI agent flying over this and I'm going, fucking billions are being laundered over here. I'm about to see the most extravagant place I've ever seen. And I flew up to this? Go, where the hell's the money going? Oh, the entire thing's a scam. Well, that was hard to figure out. Took 2 whole fucking seconds. $600, dude. Fucking blows my mind. Oh yes, like I showed you, there's more. This one building alone. This one building alone has more company. They have 1/3 of the Cayman Island entire population is in this one building. What? And I showed you the other 6 that have the rest. It blows my... It's whatever, dude. Fucking... Where could this be? Georgetown and Euclid House. Fucking so stupid. Puerto Rico's... And then look at this. Look at what Microsoft did. Exactly like what I said they're doing with like Cuba and where's all these drugs coming from? You guys? Why? Because if they can get you hooked, guess what? That's more money. That's more business, more fucking income for them. They don't give a shit. They don't give a fuck about you. They care about money and your vote. How can I get more money? How can I get their fucking vote? This is insane. Like I said, it's all a pure tax play. It's 100% a pure tax play. Everyone knows it. But I had this one up for a reason. Yeah, look at this. Oh, wait, no, sorry, this wasn't it. Oh, yeah, this is what I'm saying. They went up and they struck a deal with Puerto Rico. So they were just paying them to let them do this. They didn't give a fuck. Like I said, people wonder, like, why are we in these wars? Because they're paying these fucking wars. These wars are paying them. They're funneling money over there. The economy's not making money at all. They need to do something. They need to get credit because we run on credit. The entire fucking world is set on credit and it's on IOUs. It is unfucking believable. On top of these guys, so then what these fucking cocksuckers do is they go ahead and then their businesses sit there and they cheat and make all this money, right? So then on top of that, they themselves got the carried interest loophole, which is also bullshit, which is what they do with their investments and crap, which makes them pay less than teachers. They pay less taxes than us. So they pay no taxes on the fucking corporate end, and then they're paying basically less than teachers on the fucking their personal end. It's a fucking joke. Where's all the money to fund wars? Well, you have trillions over here. I can't even imagine what the number is. If in 2005 or in 2015 it was 2.5 trillion, and we printed, like I said, you have at least 6, 7, 8, 9 trillion hidden somewhere, maybe more. Fucking joke, dude. This shit is so, like, our forefathers would fucking roll in their graves if they saw this shit. But this pot, like I said, it's starting to boil over, and this is what's funny. These banks and their earnings, everything's so good. Man, we're doing great. Meanwhile, customer deposits are flying out the door at the fastest pace in United States history. Do you guys understand that? People are leaving the banks at the fastest pace in the United States history. Where are they going? Money market funds, $1 trillion already left. And then in the back end, what's going on? JP Morgan, oh, we're so good to go. But yet in the same fucking quarter, they had an additional $40 billion in unrealized losses. Bonds are getting fucking demolished. They're not going to be able to sell any of these mortgage-backed securities. They're all going to have to hold this shit. Now, you guys remember last month, or not even last month, I meant last week. Last week I showed you guys they were at $560 billion in unrealized losses. Look at it now. In 1 week, now I'm going to show you how insane this shit's going to start getting. In 1 week, their unrealized losses jumped $90 billion. What the fuck? In 1 week. That's insanity. They're at $650 billion right now in unrealized losses. What the hell? You know how many people are, like I said, this bomb is coming through the fucking banking sector. This number is, dude, it's going to hit credit card debt at the rate they're going. If they're going up $90 billion a week, it's not getting better. Rates are getting harder. They're going to keep taking losses harder and harder. They're going to keep taking more default. Now, we went over this a couple weeks ago. Office properties are closing and they're defaulting even more. They lost $5.6 billion more from Q2 to Q3. Now, on top of that, Uptown and Wells Fargo just went into receivership because it defaulted on a $157 million loan. Like I was telling you guys, guess what? This thing has 48% vacancy. 42-story tower, dude. Defaulting. Wells Fargo's in a lot of trouble. On top of that, I was telling you guys, these banks are gonna keep getting smashed from these corporations in these corporate office defaulting. So you got them defaulting there, and guess what else happened? On the other side for Wells Fargo. Boom! Another default foreclosure on another business office. Auto Trader went down. Their headquarters is gone. Boom, they defaulted on their loan. Wells Fargo again had to take another loss. Wells Fargo, they're not going to be able to sell these. And this is my point. These guys are crushing themselves from the inside. These smaller banks, think about this. When a couple of these smaller banks go under, A couple more of these, because these guys are going to keep going under. These guys, on top of that, the mortgage, we'll get into that in a minute. The mortgage sector is beyond fucked right now. It's getting worse and worse by the day. It is insane what is going to happen in there. And it's going to get worse and worse and worse by the month. But these guys are taking smashing hits. And it's not by a little bit. It's by hundreds of millions. It's by billions and billions. They're set to take 80 billion in losses. 1.25. Now, 1.25 billion worth of bonds are now in default of the entire 175 billion China property dollar bond sector. China's entire real estate sector is gone. It's fucked. It's at like 80% now defaulting, and they just showed you the other week, 2 more companies are now set to default. So they haven't even added those yet, but they're set to default as well. Now, why does that matter? In the next 6 months, 20 billion of that is to the United States. That's more to the banks. So now they're going to take more losses. Well, on top of that, these guys can't even get rid of houses. They can't sell houses. The Fed. Why are the Fed taking so long on QE? Their number one asset's homes, mortgage-backed securities. How can you sell them when no one can buy anything? You can't lower your assets. Your number one asset's pretty much locked the fuck in. What you're trying to sell it for, no one's buying. So it's taking you way, way, way longer to even get that done. And then, by the time that happens, more rates have to go up. You're just getting... You're in this debt spiral that is happening now it's happening faster than fuck. And like I said, the amount of millions and billions. On top of that, Homestar Financial Mortgages shuts down. These guys were in business for 24 years. Like I said, mortgage volatility. Nobody can buy anything. Think of all these real estate companies that are going to start going down. These major real estates. Think of all these branches of these banks that I've already showed you. Wells Fargo already lost their mortgage unit. Tons of these banks are going to start losing this. And that's a huge, huge revenue for these guys. Like I said, these guys run on credit. Losing on mortgages, that's a lot of credit. And it's getting more expensive for them to open up these. I already showed you they're taking losses on every single one. And now everyone's just defaulting everywhere. Now, this was just the other day, or this was just today. Sorry. The other one I want to show you next is the other day. 8% at 8% mortgage rate. Well, here's the thing. It's like, let's just look it up right now once again. Let's pull it up again quick. So once again, 400K, 10%, average credit score. So even this is lowballing it. I mean, you're at 8.66 average in Minnesota. Obviously, I mean, you can go to a more, dense populated area. California, you're still at 8.4. I mean, Chicago, let me go to like Florida. Florida, you're at 8.6. I mean, let me go to like a Texas. 8.6. So, I mean, 8% is still lowballing it. This is still lowballing what your rates are at right now. So this is even less. At 8% mortgage rate, so again, lowballing it, 22 million Americans qualify for a standard $400,000 loan. Think of that number. That's it. And now that number is even higher. So even less qualify for it. That's not very many people. And how many of those people that qualify are looking for a house? Just because you qualify doesn't mean you want one. At 3% rate last year, or 2 years ago, it was double, 50 million. So like I said, it's going to get even higher and higher, and it's going to get to the point where that number is like fucking 15 million. It's going to get to the point where it's nothing. And there's when you look at the home and everything that's going on right now, it is so fucked. It's insane. It is so fucked right now. It's insane. If you look at the home right now, the problem is you have 82.4% of people are locked in under 5%, okay? 82.4%. That means 16%. 17.6% is a little bit over that. Well, how many of them are like, well, they're not going to refinance. Why the fuck would they? And that's your people that would refinance. That's your percentage. Refinancing industries completely fucked. There's no reason to ever do it. Why would you? How are you going to get anything? There's no reason. So at this point, like I said, the way that your prices would start coming down is you would have people that have can afford to sell it at a lower cost. Well, they're not gonna, because if they need to buy a new house at 9%, they need to now again pop on an extra 90, 100,000 just to pay for that extra 7% on the fucking loan they're gonna get. So there's no reason, no incentive to sell it at that lower price. Well, new houses, they're not going to start. Price of lumber and everything's not going down. Labor, it's not going down. So they're not going to go ahead and put these new houses as lower than old ones. So your housing market's just stuck. And on top of that, like I said, the Feds own $2.7 trillion. You got corporations that were just buying and buying and buying and buying all these houses up. Well, guess what? They're not going to sell at a loss. So at this point, the supply, I already showed you guys, the supply was coming basically down to an all-time low. Demand was coming to an all-time low. Collateral is drying up like a motherfucker. You cannot, and this was the problem. They had rates and everything. They thought they could keep it low forever, and then they fucking printed. And they printed and had these low-ass rates and borrowed out to everybody, spent like they were going out of fucking style. And that's the problem. They're still spending like it's going out of fucking style. It's not going to stop. But now what's happening is you're leading to glitches everywhere. You're leading to problems because you can't keep pushing shit every other which way. Eventually, shit's going to keep happening. I don't know if you guys saw, but 2 days ago, the DTCC's website was down for almost 2.5 hours. I could not get on it. Repeatedly tried. Multiple people tried. It was down. The DTCC's website was down. On top of that, a couple days before that, what happened? The London Stock Exchange went down due to glitches. Nobody still knows what happens. A system incident halted trading for 80 minutes. And it was fucking, I showed you guys the list. It was hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of stocks. There's no update on it. Nobody knows what happened to this day. They're going to once again go, I hope they forget about it. What else happened? Yesterday, SIBO was all fucked up. Options were all fucked up. I mean, the options chain was all fucked up. I mean, it's constantly, you're now seeing these, huge glitch here, huge glitch here. You've never had these financial glitches. Yeah, because you guys are pushing this shit over to here, then it's over to here, then a rule comes, and now you're pushing this shit over to here. Eventually, you can't fucking hide this. Shit's gonna, when they're doing your sham resets, when this shit happens and shit expires over here, and you forgot about this one, or this happens here, because everything's on Elgums, shit's gonna crash. You're not gonna be able to find stuff, and if you look at what happened on the SIBO, a lot of this happened on the exchange, on the VIX exchange, and there was a lot of failure to delivers on the SIBO end, and it's like, what the fuck is going on? Where is it? I'm not gonna look for it too long. This guy posts a lot. Here you go. So now all of a sudden you're having all these failure delivers on SIBO end, and if you look, it's the main three in VIX. So you're having all these problems in the VIX. And that's what fucked up the SIBO exchange. Options. It's like, what the fuck? Eventually, you can't hide it when it's blowing up everywhere. And the problem is, and we're going to get... Actually, you know what? Let me pull it up forward before I get into that. Because it's a perfect time to get into that. The problem is if you look at this... Where are we at here? Oh, keep going here. So the problem is all the. So here's my thing with Phase 6. And I couldn't sit there. And like I said, still to this day, I'm like, why the fuck didn't this work? And now I get it. It's obvious. It's duh. Obviously, we all know they're corrupt. But I just didn't understand the corruption. But it's not that they're just corrupt. They're all so tied in together. Everyone's economy is so fucked through swaps. Everybody was helping everybody. Hey, do these with me here, so it's over here regulated. Do this over here. And everyone's economy was so intertwined through swaps and this and that and this and that that they couldn't hold each other accountable. I thought other countries would be like, nope, you can't do that. They can't. They couldn't afford to. They're so intertwined that they would have fucked their own economy up. World at a tipping point. Following government binge spending, low interest rates. COVID came up, so they had every excuse in the world to fucking print and borrow and do this. Everybody bought swaps over here. People were fucking shorting other countries' economies. They printed all this money just to evaporate other economies. People think war... See, this is what's... People think war nowadays is done on the battlefield. No, it's not. The United States is at war with everybody. We just crush them financially through the stock market and through all this stuff and swaps and doing all this stuff to their... Dude, that's all we do. We just manipulate everything. We fuck them up on the back end, just like we do with us. We're not gonna, like I said, there's two ways to conquer and enslave a nation. Through debt and the sword. And that's the same thing that they're doing to other countries. We're gonna conquer you through debt by the power of the dollar. And we're gonna keep getting the dollar stronger and stronger. As long as we're getting weaker, we're gonna get the dollar stronger and stronger and stronger throughout the world so we can keep strangling you guys and holding our power. And that's what it's all a fucking about. That's what it's all about. It's insane. But eventually, these guys will have problems. These guys will have problems. And then all of a sudden, as I showed you guys with these flex options, they're all intertwined. They're all intertwined through sorry, I should have went to OCC. Should have just went to the OCC. So they're all intertwined. They're all intertwined through these flex options, and you can just go ahead and pull through them all through different, like I said, different indexes. And if you go ahead and, like I said, pull up today's, that was the date, 26. Oh, wait. Let's do yesterday's. Let's do yesterday's. All right, so you do yesterday's, pop it on up. Boom. AMC, AMC2, 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 AMC2. Well, what's that mean? What are these AMC2 contracts? And like I said, this is a main way that these guys fucking control this. They sit there and they get... Damn, look at these hedges. But if you look at AMC2, what's the 2 mean? European. These are European flex options. So all this shit is intertwined, intermixed, funneled here, funneled there, hidden over here, hidden over there. It's the same crap. Let me go ahead and take these Cayman Islands. If you could audit the Cayman Islands, the story the Cayman Islands could tell you. I mean, let me audit these sub companies over here. Let me put this over here. There's ways and loopholes that these guys can go ahead and put these things away. Obviously through swaps, but other ways where they can go ahead and not report certain positions in these overseas companies, and that's where they're putting a lot of this bullshit. Like I said, it's a joke. It's a constant here. We'll hide here, hide there, hide this, hide that. But eventually, everything starts to collapse. Everybody starts to wake up going, you guys, we can't just spend unlimited. You can't just sit there and say, think about what your government just did. It's fucking treason alone. We're going to go ahead and give ourselves an unlimited cap ceiling on the debt. We can just spend whatever we want. And then they spend over $1 fucking trillion in less than a year. What the fuck? On what? Not making our lives better. Not helping the economy. Oh, on just bullshit. Again. blowing hundreds of billions like it's fucking candy, while all these politicians are loving life. Just 100 millionaires. They have more money than all these celebrities, all these movie stars, all these people that you think would have hundreds of millions. Nope, just the politicians. Fucking, it's insanity. Like, we need to kick these fuckers out of office. We need to, and people, I mean, good grief. The grasshoppers have been living large. Why we've been picking the fucking, what were they giving them? Acorns? Peanuts? I think they're little acorns. We're giving them all the acorns. Fucking hoppers over here kicking us in the nuts over and over and over again. We have no money. We need money for taxes. Meanwhile, Euglin House and Company in Georgetown, Cayman Island, Georgetown, has $6 trillion sitting over there. $7 trillion sitting over there. Hey, you want to fund war, you piece of shit? Go get your $100 billion from Georgetown. While you're at it, take all that money and put it back in the economy. If I was president, this would be the first thing I would address. Any single person that has a sub company outside of the United States, you can't do business in the stock market. Oops. If you want to do business in the United States, you can only have a firm in the United States. Oops. That'd be my first fucking law. Sorry. Did I just destroy all of you fucking, every one of you piece of shits? That'd be law 1. Next thing I would do is kick Hester out of SEC. I'd kick Mark out of the SEC. Oh, God. I would defund all these. Oh, man. I would figure something out. I would maybe like... I mean, hell, we can burn hundreds of trillions of dollars, right? We can burn hundreds of trillions of dollars, right? Or billions, I mean. Hell, I would just start a new exchange and I would, kind of maybe move it over to where maybe the government kind of runs. Well, no, that leads to too much corruption, especially when suddenly you got the fucking... It doesn't matter. That's the thing that sucks. What's better, to have the government do it, which I still would say is better than having private entities? I mean, the fact that private entities are in charge of regulating the biggest stock market in the world is a fucking joke. But whatever. We're not going to keep getting into that shit. But like I said, not only that, you guys, not only are all of this shit hitting these guys, so not only are the banks getting fucking throttled, and I mean absolutely fucking throttled on bonds. I mean, holy fuck are they getting throttled on bonds. I mean, when you lose 90 billion in a fucking quarter, or in a week, when you lose 90 billion in a week on unrealized losses, holy fuck. And it's going to get worse. The pain they're going to feel soon. Oh, God. And then, like I said, I showed you 1.5 trillion in real estate's going to be renewed here pretty damn soon. What are they going to do? Take smashing fucking losses. You're already, like I said, you're already watching them they're literally losing skyscrapers. Good, fuck off. They're losing giant offices. Good, fuck off. They're going to take this office building, they're going to try and sell it, no one's going to buy it, and then they're going to just sit on this fucking property. Good, fuck off. You reap what you sow, you piece of shit. But these are going to keep going. And the problem for these guys is, what else is going to happen to the banks? Well, I mean, Jesus. What did I tell you was going to start happening here? These rates are going to go up. And why does that matter? Well, one, stock market's about to get fucked up. All these people that don't think a crash is coming, and you don't think that a ton of money is going to start running from the market, you don't start thinking a ton of money is going to be running from the banks at even a more alarming rate than what happened last year. 1 trillion left the bank last year. Do you guys remember when I played that video for you 2 weeks ago? And that guy in the banking system said, we expect almost $2 trillion to leave the banking sector. What? $2 trillion to leave the banking sector by 2025. What the hell? That's insane. Think of that. Think of that number. How many banks are going to go under? How many banks full deposits is that? That's insane. He expects it even at a more rapid rate than we had last year. And it's going to happen. Why? The last time we've had our bonds go up like this so fast, we went into back-to-back recessions. They're saying we're not in one now, and we already are in one, but they're trying to disguise it with employment because like I showed you, everybody's working 2 jobs. Well, okay. Guess what's going to happen? 30-year treasuries close at 5.09, the second highest level in the last 23 years. So since 2000. Okay. Well, guess what? They're going to go up way faster, and they're going to go up a lot. I hate that these guys, I don't want to even tell you, never mind. I don't want to tell you who agreed with me the other week because I fucking hate them. But people in the banking sector even said, you will see 7%. There's a very good chance you see 7%. Very soon. Very soon. And I'm talking by mid next year. You have all of that. You have those trillions coming up on renewal. It's going to keep rising. It's going to get to 6% before these even renew. When these renew, it might jump to 8%, 7.5%. Everyone's going to leave at that point. If I have a guaranteed 7.5% return, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to take money out and say, fuck the banks. Fuck the stock market. You're going to have a lot of pension funds and all these. Go into these more. Hell, we can get into this instead. We can get into these guarantees. Government will keep paying because the government's going to keep fucking spending at a rate that should be treasonous in itself. Your government should not be spending at the way that they are. And we've went over that over and over and over. Well, what that does also is all these people are going to leave the banking sector because they're going to say, why am I getting 0.1% when I can get 7 over here in bonds, in money market funds? I'm going to go over here. Fuck them. And that's exactly what they're going to do. And they're going to do exactly and then what's going to happen? You're going to have a lot of these bigger companies doing it too. They're going to be hedging through fucking these treasury markets. A lot more are going to get in. And that is why I was saying the other bond that's coming. You have all of those hedge funds shorting treasury markets at the highest rate, and we're buying them as fast as they're shorting them. Companies are starting to buy them as fast as they're shorting them. Who's going to be wrong? There is so many goddamn bombs coming. It's insanity. I mean, if you guys go ahead and read this, like I said, I'll go ahead and post this. Go ahead and read that a little bit. Talks about, like I said, this is worse. This shit's worse than when we were in the 2008 crisis. This is highest level since 2007. It's going to continuously get worse and worse and worse. And I know a lot of people go, well, why do you talk about rates in these more? Because these rates are going to be the end of it. This is the atom bomb for the country at this point because you have been spiraled. You have been beyond spiraled. You are in deeper than ever, and it's getting worse and worse, and it's going to get... I'm going to show you how bad it's going to get here, but it's going to get so fucking ridiculous towards, like, okay, you can't ignore this, or you either need to start addressing it. But like I said, this is where the government's problem is. You don't have enough new companies coming in, so you're not gaining new taxes. You can't introduce new taxes. Your people don't have enough money, and you would lose the election, and they would go fucking nuts if you just suddenly said, we need more taxes for this. And now what they're trying to do is get the climate fucking change taxes and all this. They want to sit there and go, whoa, the cows are farting. No, you just want money, and you need money because you're fucking broke. Now, one of the things I told you to watch is, the bond market. I told you the bond market would start to decide everything. Well, one of the things that I told you to watch with that also is the reverse repo market, because these banks will tell you one story and the reverse repo market will tell you another. what this is again, this is another thing that is hurting the government. This is another way that they make money, and they're able to make less and less and less because they're getting less and less and less. You're now at 1.089 trillion. Hold on, baby. We're going a little bit. We just went out. Sorry. So now you have less and less participants. So what that is less and less money for the government to take. So what they do is they go ahead and they take this cash and they plan it overnight and get treasury in return. And then what the government does is they take that money and buy overnight index swaps, okay? And that is how the government can make more cash. And then they'll come back and they'll go ahead and pay them their money back, and then they'll give them treasury notes, or they'll pay them the yield or whatever it is, the coupon rate. So at this point, which as you can see, their rates are a little bit better than what we're getting. But either way, so what these guys are doing, so this is another thing that's hurting the government, because if there's less and less banks that have less and less cash on hand to deposit overnight, that's less and less money that they can go ahead and create off overnight index swaps. Well, that hurts the economy again. So again, you're constantly baby, hold on, generating less and less revenue, and you're constantly having to pay more and more and more on your debt because it's getting riskier and riskier and riskier. Now with phase 6, what it really did, and this is, I mean, I can tell you exactly what actually happened from it. There is something that did take place from it. Is all these countries, when I said, hey, they're going to be able to look and get a look at our finances, they're going to get a look at the back door. They did. And what did they do? All of our countries, all they did, they all ran away because they said the same thing. You guys aren't that powerhouse that you claim to be. You guys aren't this perfect, our economy's strong. You guys are just like every other fiat currency, just like every other empire that has been dominant for so long. Greed has taken over, and you're in just as rough shape as everyone else's fiat currency. And when yours crashes, because all these other people that owe you money aren't going to be able to pay it back either, we will have our new currency backed by gold. And that is what BRICS is trying to do. We will have gold-backed currency. So then when all these fiat currencies have a rippling effect, because you're all tied together, you're all over-leveraged, and you're all fucking just helping the criminals. Now, one of the things I want to show you guys, I mean, if you're Michael Burry right now, all those people that we're talking about is QQQ puts, and oh man, you know, like, if he's got those QQQ puts, they're going to get fucked, and he thought he was wrong, and no, if you look at the QQQ, even this week alone, dude, he's probably fucking jacked. It's down almost $19 this week alone. He's loving life. In the last 3 months, it's down $33. Michael Burry's feeling pretty fucking good today. Like I said, he's betting on everything to go down. Now, I want you guys to look at these numbers. Now, we'll break these down for a second. But your government is still borrowing. They're still spending. They're still adding to this debt. Like I said, the second that these new bonds, the 7.6 trillion comes, the rate they're going to pay now is going to be astronomical. So now if you look here, we're at an all-time high on our interest payments on debt. We pay $633 billion in interest on these bonds, on our debt. We spend $659 billion on defense. Our interest on our debt is about to become our number one expenditure. Think how insane that is. And you're still borrowing, and it's getting worse. And the amount that is going to get worse is going to accelerate rapidly. So I just don't. Murphy says hi, everybody. In case you can't hear him. But at this, it's gonna accelerate at a rapid pace. And it's like when you're sitting there spending more on debt than you are on defense, on anything else in your entire country, that's a problem. That's a spending problem. That's something that you have to address. And they ignore. And then what do? They tell you the same thing every time. Oh, it's okay. It's okay. It's no big deal. Well, hold on. one of the things I want people to see quick. They just talked about GDP. And one of the things that they always said, oh, don't worry, fucking, you know, as long as Janet Yellen, when I told you, she doesn't give a shit. She'll go to 50 trillion. She'll go to 50 trillion if she can. It's no big deal. Murphy, stop, please, baby. You're pushing my whole chair. Honey, we will play in a second. So GDP comes out and they increased it to 4.9%. Oh, look what happened right before 2007. Same exact thing. Well, it was an increase. It was an advance of 4.9%. And the next thing you notice, boom. Same exact thing, same exact scenario, same exact, everything's good to go. Oh, by the way, we can do further revisions down the road if we want to. This is just an estimate, you guys. These are just estimates. We'll revise it and we'll lower it correctly next time. Like I said, it's like the same shit. They literally do it over and over and over and over again. And here's the problem. So, when you sit here, where the fuck is, there you go, sorry. So if you sit there and look at, you know, like what we're doing, how are we breaking this down? How are we spending this debt? This debt is a continuous joke of let's bail out the banks. This government FDIC bailout already added 101 billion. So people are wondering, like, why haven't there been crashes? Because we've already bailed them out by the sum of 101 billion. Fucking insane. Net interest jumped 184 billion from last year. On top of that, they're getting less money and less taxes. We're making and getting less money. So, like I said, everybody's getting less. I showed you guys wages were dropping. People are just saying fucking living at home. People are living with their parents way longer than going out because they A, can't afford it, and B, you guys got to remember, mortgage, think about this. Mortgage just passed rent. Mortgages passed rent. If you rent a house, you always charge more than your mortgage. You don't just buy a house to lose money. You don't buy a house to rent it out to risk somebody coming in smashing this, and now you can't. Now you have all this tied to your equity. You can't afford to go get another one. No, you buy a house, rent it out, and it's going to be more than your mortgage. The fact that mortgages are now more than rent, that's insanity. Like I said, the housing market right now is the least affordable it's ever been in the history of the United States. We're now at over $2,839 to own a house. And that was at an average of 8%. Now I showed you it is at 8.6% to about 8.5. Sweetie, it'll be okay. So, take this bone. Hold on, let me get him a bone so we call him. Wait, baby. That's how we do. All right. So, like I said, we're on this debt spiral that the United States, and then on top of that, all your politicians are corrupt. Well, the one thing that is making me nervous is what happens is you're having no other country's buying your bonds. So you're going to have to raise the debt. And like exactly what I said, if no one's buying other bonds, if other countries aren't, that only leaves one people or a couple people. It leaves us, your citizens, and it leaves your corporations buying it. So the thing that I'm worried about is what's going to happen is you're going to not only have these corporations in charge of your politicians, well, they're going to also buy all the country's debt as well. So now they're going to own the debt of the United States, and they're going to have the back pockets of all of these politicians. Well, guess what? That means that they own the United States, doesn't it? If I own all the country's debt and I own all the politicians, don't I own the country? So next thing you notice, you're going to have tons of these guys, tons of these corporations getting these massive fucking payoffs, and they're going to be the ones that own the country even more. And then you're going to have the thing that I told you guys we're going to have if everything keeps going the way they want. A corporate republic. If you look up what a corporate republic is, it's basically a government and everything in an entire fucking country
that's run basically to make sure that there's a couple good, powerful corporations. Everything's in the good of the corporations. A lot of people work there. Everybody. It's basically communism. It's basically communism run by a few corporations. And there's not one in the world, but the fact that they termed it and they coined it and they already talked about it happening is pathetic. And that's exactly what they're talking about. They will end up having a corporate republic. They will suddenly get out CBDCs, which they will now call tokenized security, or tokens. There are tokens. They're on our new token system, so we can sit there and fucking cheat digitally. You can't track it because, like I said, it's on this blockchain. Well, guess what? I already showed you guys. Chameleon technology shows you can edit blockchain. Oh. Great. So, one of the bright things going on, and I want you guys, if you don't want to sit there and read the article, I read the filing that got passed. I'm going to go ahead and put this down for everybody. Oh, did it? Hold on. Don't do that one. That's not going to work. Let me hit you up with this site over here. I already downloaded that, so that's not going to work for you guys. Sorry. Hit up this link right there. Yep, that's it. Yeah, hit that. Use that link right there. And then, if you want, I'll open up for you guys. But basically, God damn it. I'm closed. All right, so the CFTC is, if this really happens, if this is, really enforced, this is fucking awesome. But, we know how they are. So the CFTC is basically, they passed harder and better regulations. There's going to be no more acceptance, waiver, and consent type things. They're going to now have to start to admit guilt on certain events. So they're going to, like I said, they'll try and hold people accountable. And by doing that, it will finally start to build that tier system up, which is what I was talking about. How the hell can JP Morgan have 274 fines and get the same total fine that they got on offense number 1, offense number 3, offense number 600, offense number 400? Why are they all the same total? Why isn't offense number fucking 700 or 274? Why isn't 274 10 billion times the fine of fucking number 1? So what this is going to do is actually, if you're a multiple violator, we're going to get you more and more and more. And on top of that, you're going to have to start to admit guilt instead of being able to say, I didn't know, blah, blah, blah. So I want you guys to read that. If you guys want a quick version update of it and you don't want to read all that, let me go ahead and post Dave's summary here. But like I said, you guys should always read this, but he'll actually go into highlights. But like I said, this will give them civil monetary penalties. They're supposed to charge them a lot more than these little small fines. It's no longer supposed to be, business expense penalties. We'll see. We always hear that. But like I said, it's getting passed to where it's supposed to be a lot harsher of a penalty. So, what was the other things he says about this? Oh, yeah. So, so if you're a repeat offender, like I said, these were the two main highlights I saw, was if you're a repeat offender. So he talks about if you're a repeat offender, you'll get more harsher of a punishment. What was the other thing he talked about? Baby. So now I guess monitors can actually punish people that are monitoring people's systems. They're not just bystanders. Apparently, they had to report stuff directly to a government agency, and then that SEC or that government agency, or in this case, would be the CFTC, they would have to report to them, and then the CFTC would look to find them. Apparently, now monitors of these guys' systems can actually go ahead and impose the fine themselves, which if that's a case, that's pretty fucking sweet. This is another one right here. Talks about how they can't just, not admit guilt. This is one of the most significant changes I've seen from an enforcement division in history. The no admit, no deny stance isn't a given anymore. We're likely to see more cases where entities are forced to admit guilt, especially where facts are contested. So that's sweet. Like I said, I mean, again, are they going to fucking uphold them? But the laws are, like I said, they're making them a lot more harsh. Hopefully the SEC and all these other regulators do the same. But it is something. It is a positive. It is a step forward. It is... I mean, obviously, I want us to do more. I want us to go kick these fuckers' doors down at this point. This is getting beyond stupid. But I don't know. I still think we should sue the brokers. I think I should hold a poll, find out who everybody uses the most. I think we should find out the number one broker people used from the time period when the buy button was shut off to today, and then just find out who the number one guy was, and we go after them. We see if we can get funding for it, and if we can, why the fuck not? Send a message to these pieces of shit. I don't know. But again, it's up to more people. I need to see. I don't want to sound like Ethan and then, we're going to... But it's like, I'm not trying to sue the company I'm fucking invested in getting manipulated. I'm trying to sue the people cheating because now I have grounds after that last lawsuit that says brokers are now held accountable. That changed everything, you guys. That changed everything. We didn't have that before. Let me pull that up quick. Let me find that shit. I can't remember the fucking number of the... I'm trying to think of the number of the lawsuit. Oh, maybe. Find it on a quick Google search here. I think I posted it on I thought I posted that lawsuit on Twitter. Whatever, I'll find it and repost it here soon. But that lawsuit that said that brokers could no longer sit there and say, we don't know what our customer did with the orders. It's not our fault. You can't hold us liable. And like I said, that's how the CMKM Diamonds people got off the hook. So if we can go ahead and sue these brokers, fuck them. I don't see why not. Buddy, are you going to be okay for like 9 more minutes? All right, does anyone have any questions at all? Anyone want me to go over anything, or anyone want... Otherwise, I'm going to head out here. This dog's going fucking crazy. I know, we've only ran 12 miles today. Apparently, it's not enough. This young man. Baby, we will go out. I mean, like I said, I feel like we're getting closer. We need to just keep supporting AMC as much as we can. Like I said, if you can't go to a movie, advertise as much as you can for AMC. If you have Twitter, retweet as many videos as you can, or trailers. I mean, not videos. Retweet as many trailers as you guys possibly can. That would, like I said, they spend millions and millions on advertisements for a reason. But I'm going to put up a poll. We'll see if people want to honestly get serious about looking into these fucking suing. Maybe, like I said, the number one broker that we've all looked at, because I think that could be the discovery. Talk about some type of funding, because obviously it's like I'm not going to go hire a fucking lawyer right off the bat if I don't know what all we got going on here behind it. But I still think it's something we should do. But we'll see what people want to do here. I'll post on Twitter, see what people want to do, and I'll post on up here on YouTube, see if you guys want to. But I'm gonna go on. This dog's going crazy. I might have to go to the bathroom here pretty bad. So thank you guys for joining. But I just wanted to show everybody just how fucking insane this tax haven is. The fact that it's in the 7 to 8 to 9 trillion. The fact that this small little town here that looks like a fucking broken down type ghetto area has trillions of dollars flowing through it. If this doesn't show you the biggest tax scam you've ever fucking seen in your life. Georgetown, Cayman Islands. biggest tax scam in the world, and I'm going to say it one more time, Euclid House. The Euclid House is a fucking tax scheme. 20,000 plus corporations in a 10,000 square foot building. What these guys do is they register for $600 in the Cayman Islands. They have nobody in the office. What they do is they rent out virtual offices. Then what they do is they have their billing and the company information sent to the United States. And then what else they do is they go ahead and they'll remote work into their virtual office, or they'll remote work into their system. So they don't even need to live there. So nobody lives there. There's not even technically a real office. It's a virtual office that they go ahead and rent out. But now that they can register in the Cayman Islands for $600, and they can funnel away. But thank you guys for listening, and have a good day.